Hey everyone, this is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome to my channel. This will be my review of Age of Conan Belit, number 1. If you're new to my channel, please do subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads. Also, please do give this a thumbs up if you enjoy this review and share with others. And don't forget to comment. Alright. Now, I know there are a lot of Conan fans. I'm not one of them, but I am a fan of beautiful women. I saw this cover at Purple Earth Comics here in Huntington, West Virginia, and I was drawn to it because this is a beautiful woman, even though she's a teenager. She's still very beautiful. Now, I don't recognize any of the names that worked on this at all. That's why I felt that this was a safe book to get into. Frankly, some of the artists that I know of, I tend to avoid their books because they have, reputations. And that aside, let's get into this comic. Now, this is part of a mini-series. It opens up at a port with this from the Song of Belit, a lost verse. Believe late autumn brings heaviest storm, with gravid air's promise of tempestuous seas. Believe child-born at first red light would stretch cross ocean like black disease. From Asglen, where sailors dare to lay down bows, spears, and blades. Now, I do love this beautiful, picturesque view of this port. It's just so beautiful. Build houses from planks that once graced galleons, raise babes with favored scully maids. Yes, the kings of Asglen are pirates, men who first struck flags in sand. But the city's true ruler lay in their get, in a woman who had no need of land. Belit! That's her father. Have any of you seen my daughter? Now, this is where it gets a little bit funny, and I guess this is part of Belit's charm. These three boys basically say that they don't want to play with her because she's often talking about ocean monsters that she claims to have seen. Her dad says, "Is that so?" "No matter, I think she..." And then you see this clang, 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 clang. And there she is. Now, if you look up Belit, do a search for the name, you'll probably find the same that I did, which says that she's pale-skinned, and that's exactly how they wrote her. Exactly how they drew her. Very beautiful, I might add. Why she's pale-skinned when her father is not, I don't know. So, I'm not going to read, all the dialogue, because that would be just, it's not good in my opinion. Anyways, he's hunting for her, trying to get her to come home to learn her lessons. And she's going on about this big beastie that she's seen and describing the thing in detail. Her dad is trying to calm her down, so like I said, she'll come back home and do some studying. Then she starts going on about this knot here. that whoever tied it should be flogged. Interestingly enough, her dad, who's a pirate, counters that, saying, should everyone be flogged who mistied a knot? Basically, the girl goes on and on about how she knows more than most of the men. This girl has got a really big attitude problem. But perhaps she receives that from her mother because her dad doesn't appear to be that way. At least, not now. However, he does give her a sliver of hope because he says that he knows men who have claimed to see these sea beasties, because you can see that her face sort of lighten up. I mean, I'm sorry about that phrase. That's just so cheesy. Because she's already as light as she can be. I mean, the expression on her eyes, she's she's lighting up with hope in her eyes. Maybe she can actually find a sea beastie. Anyways, she figures out that her dad's lying, but all he wants to do is her to study. However, he gives her a dinghy, which is, I think, just a smaller boat, because he can't give away his own boat. And he says, because to hunt them down, but there is this dinghy, and taking that would make you a pirate. And I think that's what she wants to be most of all, is a pirate. The aspirations this girl has. So he tells her, look away from the shore and don't look back. Why does he do this? Because he knows somebody's coming after him. And if you can see here, nobody here, but then all these figures start showing up. He does nothing. And they clobber him. Because he apparently owes some debt. And over the page, she gets out of the dinghy and walks to shore, and then finds her tutor, who wants to start her lessons, but she's not having any of it. She's saying, somebody took her father, and they, went this way. So they find the people who did this, and for some reason, I guess her father said, don't try anything because I deserve this. So she didn't try anything. And her father commands him, I'm not sure if I can pronounce that, Naka, to take her out of the city because he wants her protected. He does exactly as he's told. She doesn't know why her father won't fight, but he promises to help. However, he sticks this in her mouth, I guess to get her to calm down, and she blacks out. But Belit wakes up in this purple bed with a dagger next to her. And somehow he knows exactly what they did, because he says they took him. I mean, that's obvious. And marooned him on the sandbar. Old pirate excursion method. Now, it makes me wonder, how does he know where her father is marooned? She starts out to find her father. She starts out alone. This must be the sandbar, because there's her father, who for some reason does not want her to rescue him. It's strange because he says, debts no one can pay, Belit. Men's lives I spent like coin, by the hundreds, Belit. Being an admiral is not like being a simple pirate captain. I was more than a hand behind a blade. I was the general that gave the orders. So he feels responsible. She doesn't quite understand why. But she says that she wants to be like him. She wants to know everything about her father. She's very devoted. She stays with him during the night, but he says, Belit, I would not die like this. So she takes the dagger and goes, and from what I can tell, basically ends her father's life. Now, she comes back and she's ticked off, because the people aren't treating her father's ships correctly. I mean, you can see that one of them's being burned. So she goes off and she's gonna try and get him back. She says, honorless dogs, every one of you, he was a pirate king. And this is the boat that's burning. It's ablaze. She climbs aboard. I mean, you might think, a single girl against a bunch of dudes. Well, apparently she can hold her own. Because look at this. She fights against them, but of course she takes a blow to the chin. Then, da-da-da-da-da, wouldn't you know, here comes another ship. And this one appears to be someone that's going to help her. Because they could just take the ship for themselves. But I believe, even though this is not addressed in the comic, I believe that Belit contacted these people, these men and women, and enlisted their help before she set sail. Like I said, even though that's not addressed. She's a fine one, lads. That's a ship who's been around the seas and still blushes like a maid. She for sale? And he says, Martha's wounds, no. But we do have something for sale. And see, he knows what's going on. Here it comes. At your side, Captain. Do tell us, sailor. then he says he goes on about being about the slavers market. She says, "There's the word, aye." Then they attack. Slave ship, men, attack! I always gotta love a good scene like that. He knows, or I guess he presumes that where to find her, because he said below deck. Prisca, below deck. Her name's Prisca. Prisca. She goes below deck. And here is where she finds Belit. She finds a bunch of people who've been captured, so she sets them free. And then this is so funny. He says, "It's Pharaoh! It must be a beast or some sort of..." No, it's a girl who's tied up. "I am Belit!" Well, maybe these aren't... Maybe these people weren't contacted by her previous... But I love this, what she calls herself. Because he says, "Is that so? And that would make you the pirate princess." "Nay, the pirate queen." So I would say, that this comic book, while it's set back in a time long forgot, it has some funny moments and some tender moments. Apparently, these sailors that they don't seem to be against her. And she says, he says that Prisca and my crew took it fair and square. It's talking about the ship that she was rescued from. However, she said that she needs it for hunting sea monsters. Sea monsters? Nobody believes her, apparently. She plans to take over that ship. And then, wouldn't you know, sea monsters, or very large octopus, it's about to have its way with this ship right here. And this, in the back, is part of the novella, because it says on the front that this is, I think, based on the novella. And this is long. This is a long read. So I would say, if you want to know what all this says, then you better get a copy, because I'm not gonna read everything in those 3 pages. It would take just too long. And this is, a preview of the next issue of The Age of Conan Belit #2. So, like I said, I think this is a really good issue. It was really fun. It had some comedic moments and some moments that were tender. It was well balanced, but it was serious nonetheless. I enjoyed it. So I hope you did too. Came out March 2019, so you may not be able to find this in your local comic shop right now. But if you do find it, I would recommend getting it. So please do subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Do click the notification bell so you don't miss any new uploads. Also, if you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up and share it around. And don't forget to leave your comments. I am Michael for Spirit Comics. Till next time, true readers.